What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to talk about what's going on with the overall market and warn you guys about some very important resistance levels. But let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And then don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. The offer ends very soon. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that right now, when it comes to SPY, we're at some very tough resistance at this 518 area. We were pushing higher, and I did warn you guys about this today, that this was very probable that SPY is going to try to push. We got the push, but now I just want to warn you all that 518 is a very tough resistance, very, very strong level, and we'll see how SPY does. If we do manage to break this, 519 might be a minor resistance, but the next super tough resistance is going to be 520. We're not quite there yet. We're at 518. That's actually already like pretty tough for it. If we do get a big rejection off this, we could come all the way back down to 516.5, followed by 15.8, and then we have 515 below that, and then 514.2. If anything, guys, SPY, it's not necessarily rejecting right now. It's just kind of fighting this resistance, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. As of right now, it's still shuffling, so just be kind of patient, but just know the resistance is very tough. It's very, very tight, and we'll see how SPY does at this level. Watch and see if you get a rejection or not. I just want to call out the level for you guys. Onto the QQQ, we have 448.4-ish as resistance, followed by 449. And if we break that, 450 is next. That's where we have another tough resistance. For support, if we come back down, you're going to be watching this thing around 447.6. And if we lose that, 446.73 is coming, followed by 446. So 448 is becoming very tough on the QQQ. We are shuffling a lot, but be careful at this resistance. We'll see how well it holds. But I just want to warn you all, we have some tough resistance up here, and there is a risk of a rejection. Not a promise, just a risk of it, so watch it very carefully, and we'll see how well it holds. It's still holding 448, but just be careful. It could turn, so just be very mindful of that. For Nvda, it's continuing to push to this resistance we called out at 465 to 470. But the thing about Nvidia is, even though it's been pushing for the past hour, it's been kind of stuck at this resistance, and we're going to have to see if it gets a rejection or not. If we do so, we're going to be watching 958. If we lose that, a bigger drop could come. So be careful on Nvidia. Tough resistance has been hit. It is slowing down a bit thanks to that, so watch that carefully. If we break above 970, we could push all the way up to a 975, but I just want to note that we already hit this tough resistance between 965 and 970, excuse me, and it's not holding up that well. For Tesla's stock of all things is not looking that great. It made an attempt to break out. It actually pushed upon open to 182.5 and then ended up getting a break. The downside, now it's coming back down to about 178. Not looking too strong, very, very weak compared to the market. So watch 178 to 177.6 as support for Tesla. If we lose 177.6, a bigger drop is going to be coming all the way down towards 176. Then we have 175 below that, and 173.75. So Tesla's looking kind of weak. It tried to get a break, it kind of failed right there. We're going to be watching to see if we could hold 177.6. So watch that as critical supports, and we'll see how Tesla does right here. For resistance, watch 180 and 182. There is a possible inverse head and shoulders, but it's not looking that convincing to me. Tesla has been looking weak for the majority of the day. It failed to get a breakout. I was trying, but it failed. So watch and see if Tesla could get a bounce right here and try to push back up. It has to, but if it fails, it's not going to be looking too good. So watch for that very carefully. It still looks kind of weak, though, from a technical standpoint, so watch for that. And then last but not least, we have the one and only Aapl stock. Aapl stock, unfortunately, it's making attempts to bounce. It's at 171, but just be a little bit careful because it has this tight resistance right here. We saw this 2 days ago, 171.64. If we break that, 172.5 is next, but we haven't been able to crack 171.6. So we're still in this range. We'll see what Aapl does from here. It might get a little rejection. So if it does come back down, watch 170.9 followed by 170 flat. There could be an inverse head and shoulders like structure developing with this like left shoulder here, this head, and then like we could come down to a right shoulder before we continue higher. But for now, don't worry about that. Let's just see how it reacts to 170 if it does end up coming back down. Aapl is struggling at this resistance, so just be a little bit careful. I know it's making attempts to balance, but I just want to say that be very careful with this resistance level. I know that Aapl is not in the best of places. Anyways, that's it for this one. Just a couple more to be going over. Let me just say that SPY is still testing 518. SoFi is continuing to push as we predicted. It's actually approaching this resistance at 7.8, so we have 7.93 above that. But just be careful at those resistance levels. For super micro, we basically pumped a little bit more, but just know that we ended up approaching 1225. It still has potential to push a little higher. It's still outperforming the market a bit, but just be careful at 1225 to 1250. If we do get a rejection, we could return to 1200. So just be careful at resistance. The IWM Russell 2000 is pushing, which is awesome, but we're at this tight resistance at this 210 area. If we get a rejection, we're going to return to 209, then 207.76. So just be careful at 210. We haven't been able to break that, so it could turn. Be careful. Do what you have to do, guys. Microsoft, we're approaching resistance at this. We hit this 410 area as resistance. We're coming down just a little bit. If we do continue to sink, watch 408 as critical support. We're still fighting for 410. For Amazon, in my opinion, is still attempting to break up and watch this resistance right here at 178.5. If we break below this, 177.4 could be coming. If we break through it, we could push higher, but it is not looking the best at resistance, so just be careful right there. Same thing with Meta. Meta is still pretty strong, still trying to push up higher, but ever since we hit around 520, things are slowing down a little bit for it. So watch and see if you return to 517. Overall, guys, I just wanted to give you guys this warning about this resistance level. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see how SPY does right here. I want the best for everyone. I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Thank you and peace out.